The steak knife in Woo Jin's hand didn't cut the meat. It tore through it. He watched the red juice bleed onto the white porcelain plate, his face empty of anything that looked like human feeling. Across the table, So-yoon was talking. She had been talking for 20 minutes about wedding flowers, about the guest list, about how her father, a man Woo Jin only tolerated because of his shipping routes, wanted a traditional ceremony. "Woo Jin, are you even listening?" So-yoon asked, her voice sharp enough to cut through the low hum of the expensive restaurant. She tapped her manicured nail on the table. "I said, do you prefer lilies or orchids? My mother says orchids are bad luck, but—" "I don't care," Woo Jin said. His voice was low, rough like gravel. He didn't look up from his plate. "Pick whatever you want. Just make sure the tables are far apart so I don't have to smell your father's cheap cologne." So-yoon huffed, sipping her wine. "You're in a mood today." "Is it business? Did someone die?" "Not yet," he muttered. He finally looked up, but not at her. He looked out the floor-to-ceiling window next to their table. It was raining in Seoul, a nasty, freezing drizzle that turned the city gray and miserable. People on the sidewalk outside were rushing, heads down, hiding under umbrellas. Woo Jin watched them with cold eyes. He hated the weak. He hated the way they scurried like rats. He had spent 10 years clawing his way to the top of the triad, crushing anyone who got in his way, specifically to stop being one of those rats. His older brother had been weak, and that weakness got him killed by the Adebyo family, Falek's family. The name tasted like bile in his throat. Falek, the woman he had foolishly loved before the war started, before her father put a bullet in his brother's head. He had destroyed her family for it. Burned their assets, ruined their reputation, left them with nothing. He thought he had wiped them all out or chased them out of Korea. His eyes scanned the crosswalk. The light was red for the cars. A crowd of people surged forward. Then he froze. His hand tightened around the stem of his wine glass so hard the crystal creaked. A woman was dragging her feet across the wet asphalt. She didn't have an umbrella. She was wearing a thin, dirty coat that looked 2 sizes too big, soaked through to the skin. Her hair, once thick and braided with gold beads, was matted and hidden under a frayed scarf. But Woo Jin would know that walk anywhere. He would know the curve of that jaw, even with her head bowed in shame. It was Falek, but she wasn't alone. Clinging to her hands, stumbling to keep up with her, were 2 small children, a boy and a girl. They couldn't be more than 4 years old. They wore rags, actual rags, shirts with holes, pants that were too short for the biting cold. They were shivering, their little legs shaking as they splashed through the puddles. Woo Jin's heart hammered against his ribs like a fist. He leaned forward, pressing his face closer to the cold glass. The boy looked up at the traffic light, wiping rain from his eyes. Woo Jin stopped breathing. The boy had his nose. He had the same sharp, angry eyebrows Woo Jin saw in the mirror every morning. And the girl, she had the exact shape of his mother's eyes. They were his. Falek Adebyo, the daughter of the man who killed his brother, was dragging his heirs through the mud like beggars. The glass in his hand shattered. Red wine exploded over the white tablecloth, looking just like blood. Wait, pause the story right there. My heart is literally racing. He just saw them. He just realized those babies are his. But look at where they are, starving, freezing, wearing rags while he sits in a warm restaurant with another woman. Before we find out if Woo Jin runs out there to save them or lets his hatred for her father win, I need to know, where are you listening to this story from? Drop your city and country in the comments right now. And while you're there, rate this opening hook from 1 to 10. Be honest. Now listen to me closely. You need to subscribe to Timeless K-Love right this second. Turn on those notifications. If you don't, if you scroll past, then you are leaving Falek and those innocent twins out in that freezing rain. Don't be the reason they sleep on the street tonight while Woo Jin turns his back. Hit that subscribe button. Save them. Woo Jin, what the hell? So-yoon shrieked, jumping back as the wine dripped off the table onto her designer dress. You crazy bastard, look what you did. This is silk. Woo Jin didn't hear her. The sound of her voice was like a buzzing fly. He didn't even look at his bleeding hand where a shard of glass had sliced his palm. His eyes were locked on the window, on the 3 figures disappearing into the crowd on the other side of the street. He stood up so fast his heavy oak chair fell backward with a loud crash. The entire restaurant went silent. Waiters froze with trays in their hands. The security detail standing by the entrance straightened up, hands moving to their jackets. Woo Jin, sit down, So-yoon hissed, looking around nervously. Everyone is staring. You are embarrassing me. Shut up, he snarled. He didn't shout, but the menace in his tone made her mouth snap shut. He stepped over the broken glass and marched toward the door. Where are you going? She cried out, grabbing his arm. We haven't even ordered the main course. My father is expecting us to. Woo Jin ripped his arm away from her grip. He looked at her then, really looked at her, with eyes so dark they looked like endless tunnels. You eat, you pay. If you follow me, there won't be a wedding." He didn't wait for her to answer. He stormed past the stunned hostess and burst out the heavy glass doors into the biting cold. The wind hit him instantly, smelling of exhaust fumes and wet concrete. The rain soaked his expensive suit in seconds, but his body was burning hot. He scanned the street, his head whipping left and right. The crosswalk was empty now. The light had turned green, and cars were honking, tires splashing dirty water onto the sidewalk. "Boss." Startled, his head of security, Kang, stepped out from the waiting black SUV. Kang held out a large black umbrella trying to shield Woo Jin. "Boss, get back inside. It's not safe out here. What's wrong?" Woo Jin shoved the umbrella away. "Where did they go?" "Who, sir?" "The woman," Woo Jin barked, grabbing Kang by the lapels of his jacket. "The woman with the 2 kids, Rags, just crossed the street. Where did they go?" Kang looked terrified. He pointed a trembling finger toward a narrow alleyway nestled between a bakery and a shut-down electronics store. I think I saw a beggar woman go that way, boss, toward the old market district. But sir, that's a bad area. You can't." Woo Jin was already moving. He didn't run, he stalked. He moved with the predatory grace of a tiger tracking a wounded gazelle. He crossed the street against the light, forcing a taxi to slam on its brakes and skid on the wet road. The driver rolled down the window to curse, saw Woo Jin's face, and immediately rolled it back up, driving away fast. He reached the alleyway. It was dark, smelling of rotting garbage and urine. The fancy lights of the main street didn't reach here. This was the soul that tourists didn't see, the soul where people disappeared. He walked deeper into the shadows. His Italian leather shoes crunched on broken glass and discarded plastic bottles. "Mama, my feet hurt," a small, whimpery voice echoed off the brick walls. Woo Jin froze. He pressed his back against the wet wall, listening. "I know, baby, I know," a woman's voice whispered. It was raspy, broken, but it was hers. It was Falik's voice. "Just a little further, we have to find a dry spot. Maybe the back of the laundromat is open." "I'm hungry," another voice said. "The boy, my stomach is making noises." "Here," there was a rustling sound. "Eat this. Half for you, half for Toby." "What about you, Mama?" "I'm not hungry, Toby, eat." Woo Jin clenched his jaw so hard his teeth ached. He peered around the corner of a dumpster. They were huddled under the small overhang of a building's back exit. Falik was on her knees, rubbing the girl's hands between her own. The twins were sharing a piece of bread that looked like it had been pulled from a trash can. It was hard and stale. He could hear the crunch as they bit into it. Falik looked destroyed. Her cheekbones were sharp, sticking out against skin that looked gray and lifeless. There were dark circles under her eyes that looked like bruises. She wasn't wearing a coat anymore. She had taken it off and wrapped it around the 2 children, leaving herself in just a thin, torn t-shirt that clung to her shivering frame. Woo Jin felt a strange sensation in his chest. It wasn't pity. He told himself it wasn't pity. Pity was for the weak. This was rage. How dare she? How dare the daughter of the great Adebyo, the man who had ordered hits on prime ministers, end up like this? How dare she let his children look like alley rats? He stepped out from the shadows. "So this is what the great Adebyo line has come to," Woo Jin said, his voice echoing in the narrow space. Falik gasped. She spun around, her eyes wide with terror. Instantly, she shoved the children behind her back, spreading her arms out to shield them. She looked like a cornered animal, weak but ready to bite. When her eyes landed on him, the color drained from her face completely. "Woo Jin," she whispered. The name sounded like a prayer and a curse at the same time. "You look like shit, Falik," he said, stepping closer. He ignored the rain plastering his hair to his forehead. He stopped 3 feet away from her. He towered over her, blocking out the little light that came from the street. "Go away," she croaked, her voice shaking. "Please, just leave us alone. We aren't doing anything. We're just resting." "Resting?" Woo Jin scoffed. He kicked a discarded soda can near her foot. "You call this resting? You're freezing to death in a pile of garbage." "We are fine," she lied. She lifted her chin, trying to summon some of that old fire he used to love, but it flickered and died. She was too tired. "We don't need anything from you, especially not you." The boy peeked out from behind her leg. He stared up at Woo Jin with big, dark eyes. He didn't look scared. He looked curious. "Who is the scary man, Mama?" the boy asked. "Nobody," Falik said quickly, pushing him back. "Don't look at him, Toby." "Toby?" Woo Jin repeated the name. He looked at the boy. "And the girl?" "None of your business," Falik snapped. "Why are you here, Woo Jin? Did you come to finish the job? Is ruining my father not enough? Do you want to kill me too?" "If I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead before you saw my face," he said coldly. He took another step. "I want to know why my heirs are eating trash." The silence that followed was heavy. The only sound was the rain hitting the metal dumpsters. Falik's breath hitched. "You're what?" "Don't lie to me," Woo Jin warned. His voice dropped an octave, dangerous and low. "I can count, Falik. It's been 5 years since you ran away. Those kids are 4. Do the math." They aren't yours, she said, but her voice cracked. She was a terrible liar, she always had been. They have my face, Woojin spat. They have my blood, and you have them dressed in rags. He reached out, his hand moving toward the boy. Don't touch him, Falik screamed, lunging forward. She slapped his hand away. It was a weak hit, barely a tap, but the audacity of it made Woojin pause. She was trembling violently, tears mixing with the rain on her face. You don't get to touch them. You destroyed our family. You killed my uncles. You took everything. You don't get to claim them now just because you're bored. I took everything because your father took my brother, Woojin roared back. The anger he had been bottling up exploded. He started this war, I finished it, and now look at you. Paying the price for his sins. I'm not my father, she cried, and they are innocent, they didn't do anything to you. They are Adebyos, Woojin said, his eyes narrowing. They have enemy blood. They have your blood, she screamed. The admission hung in the air. She covered her mouth, realizing what she had said. She sobbed, her shoulders shaking. They have your blood, and that is why I hid them, because I knew if you found them, you would use them, you would turn them into monsters like you. Woojin stared at her. Monsters, is that what she thought? He looked at the boy again. Tobai. The kid was shivering so hard his teeth were chattering. The little girl was crying silently, clutching Falik's wet t-shirt. Woojin felt a vibration in his pocket, his phone. He ignored it. He had a choice. He could walk away. He could leave the enemy's daughter to freeze. It would be the ultimate revenge. Let the Adebyo line end in a gutter. It was poetic. It was justice. But then Tobai coughed. It was a wet, rattling cough that sounded like it came from deep in his small chest. Woojin's instinct flared. Not the killer instinct, the other one. The one that made him the leader. The protector of what was his. And like it or not, those kids were his. He unbuttoned his suit jacket. It was a bespoke Italian suit worth more than Falik could make in 10 years. He stripped it off. Put this on them, he commanded, tossing the heavy jacket at her. It hit her in the chest. Falik stared at the jacket, then at him, confused. What? Put the damn jacket on the kids before they get pneumonia, he barked. I'm not asking. She hesitated, her hands shaking, but the mother in her won. She grabbed the jacket and wrapped it around both children. It was huge on them, swallowing them up like a blanket. The warmth of his body heat was still trapped in the silk lining. The kids instantly snuggled into it. Get up, Woojin said. No, Falik whispered. I'm not going with you. I didn't ask if you wanted to go, Woojin said. He checked his watch. My car is around the corner. You have 10 seconds to walk there or I pick you up and carry you over my shoulder. And trust me, I won't be gentle. Woojin, please, she begged, backing against the wall. Don't do this, just let us go. We were leaving Seoul tomorrow. We won't bother you. We'll disappear. You tried disappearing, he said, stepping in close, trapping her. He leaned down, his face inches from hers. Could smell the rain on her, and underneath that the faint, sweet scent of vanilla he remembered from years ago. And look where it got you, starving in an alley. He grabbed her wrist. His grip was iron. You belong to me, Falik, you always have, and now that I know about them. He glanced at the bundle of children in his jacket. You aren't going anywhere. You hate me, she whispered, tears spilling over. You want to destroy me. Woojin pulled her away from the wall. Maybe, he said darkly. But nobody destroys what is mine except me. Kang, he shouted over his shoulder. The bodyguard appeared at the mouth of the alley instantly. Boss, bring the car around now and turn the heat up. Yes, boss. Woojin looked back at Falik. Move now. Falik looked at her children, then at the man who had been the villain in her nightmares for 5 years. She had no money, no food, and Tobai was sick. She had no choice. Defeated, she slumped her shoulders and took Tobai's hand. Come on, she whispered to the twins. Woojin watched them walk past him. He saw the holes in the boys' shoes. He saw the bruises on Falik's bare arms. He pulled his phone out. It was So-yoon calling again. He declined the call and then blocked the number. He followed his family out of the alley. The revenge he had planned for years was shifting. He didn't want to kill the Adebyos anymore. He wanted to own them. The Maybach's interior was a different world. Outside, the Seoul rain was a cold, gray curtain, but inside, the air was warm and smelled of expensive leather and cedarwood. The silence was heavy. Falik sat on the edge of the cream leather seat, terrified to lean back. She was filthy. Her jeans were stained with mud and oil from the alley. Her t-shirt smelled like sweat and fear. She didn't want to ruin the car. She knew how much a car like this cost. It cost more than the life of everyone she knew in the slums combined. Tobai and the girl, Kemi, that was her name, though she hadn't said it aloud yet, were different. They didn't know about the price of leather. They were just warm for the first time in weeks. They had sunk deep into the heated seats, their eyes heavy, wrapped in Woojin's massive suit jacket. Woojin sat opposite them in the backward-facing seat. He wasn't looking at his phone. He wasn't looking out the window. He was watching them. His eyes were like lasers. They traced every dirt smudge on Tobai's face, every tangle in Kemi's hair. Stop staring at them, Falik whispered. She pulled the edges of the jacket tighter around Kemi. You're scaring them. They are asleep, Falik, Woojin said. His voice was flat. And I'm not scaring them, I'm assessing the damage. Damage, she bristled, her mother bear instinct flaring up despite her exhaustion. They aren't cars, you don't assess damage. I do when they look like skeletons, he shot back. He reached into the mini fridge console next to him and pulled out a bottle of water. It was glass, cold and crisp. He cracked the seal. Tobai's eyes popped open at the sound. He licked his dry lips. Woojin saw it. He held the bottle out. Drink! Tobai looked at his mother for permission. It broke Woojin's heart and made him angry all over again. A son of the dragon clan shouldn't need permission to drink water. A son of his blood shouldn't look at a bottle of water like it was gold. Take it, Tobai, Falik said softly. The boy grabbed the bottle with 2 dirty hands and guzzled it. Water spilled down his chin onto the suit jacket. Slow down, Woojin ordered. You'll throw up. Tobai lowered the bottle, gasping for air. It's cold, he said, amazed. Mama, it's cold water. I know, baby, she said, brushing hair off his forehead. Woojin looked at Falik. When was the last time they ate a real meal? And don't tell me about that trash bread I saw in the alley. Falik looked down at her hands. Her fingernails were broken and dirty. She used to have manicures every week. She used to wear diamond rings. Now her hands looked like the hands of an old woman. 2 days ago, she admitted quietly. We had some rice, but the landlord kicked us out yesterday morning so we couldn't cook the rest. The landlord, Woojin repeated. He memorized the word. He would find that landlord later. And where's the rest of the family? Where are your cousins? Your uncles, the ones who escaped my purge. Falik laughed, but it was a dry, bitter sound. Escaped? Nobody escaped, Woojin. You made sure of that. Uncle Deo is in prison in Lagos. My cousin Bolus is dead. The ones who ran. They didn't want us. They said I was cursed. They said carrying. She stopped. She glanced at the twins. They said carrying the enemy's spawn brought bad luck. Woojin's jaw tightened. So they left you. They left us, she corrected. So we came back here, I thought. I don't know what I thought. I thought maybe in a city this big we could hide. I speak the language. I thought I could get a job. Who hires a runaway princess with no ID and 2 toddlers? Woojin asked cruelly. Nobody, she whispered. Nobody. The car slowed down. They weren't going to his main estate in Hanamdong. He couldn't take them there, not yet. His mother lived there. The elders visited there. If they saw Falik Adebio, they would demand her head on a platter. They would call the twins mongrels. No, he had to keep them secret. The car turned into the underground garage of a high-rise in Gangnam. It was his private penthouse, the one nobody knew about except Kang. We're here, Woojin said. The car stopped. Kang opened the door. Cover their faces, Woojin commanded. There are cameras in the elevator. Falik hesitated, then pulled the large suit jacket up over the twins' heads like a hood. She grabbed Tobai's hand. Woojin grabbed Kemi. The little girl flinched when he touched her. Tried to pull away. I'm not going to hurt you, Woojin muttered, feeling awkward. He didn't know how to hold a child. He held her like a briefcase, stiff and careful. I'm just carrying you. He scooped her up. She was light, too light it made his stomach turn. He marched toward the private elevator, shielding her face from the CCTV camera with his broad shoulder. The penthouse was cold and modern. Everything was gray, black, or chrome. It didn't look like a home. It looked like a showroom. Woojin set Kemi down on the marble floor. She immediately ran to Falik and hid behind her legs. The twins looked around with wide eyes. The floor-to-ceiling windows showed the entire city of Seoul, glowing in the rain. Is this heaven? Tobai whispered. No, Woojin said, tossing his keys on the counter. It's the 45th floor. He turned to Kang, who was standing by the door looking uncomfortable. Kang, go to the store, I need. Woojin paused. He looked at the kids. What did kids need? I need clothes for a boy and a girl. Size. Small and food, not spicy. Rice, beef, soup, lots of it, and milk. Do kids still drink milk? Yes, boss, Kang said. What about? For the lady. Woojin looked at Falik. She was standing in the middle of his $1 million living room, dripping dirty water onto the rug. She looked out of place. She looked broken. Get her something clean, Woojin said, looking away. Anything, just make sure it's not rags. Kang bowed and left. The lock clicked shut with a heavy electronic thud. Now they were alone. Falik shivered. The adrenaline was wearing off and the cold from the rain was settling into her bones. Her teeth started to chatter. The bathroom is down the hall, second door on the left, Woojin said. He took off his tie and threw it on the sofa. There is a tub, wash them, then wash yourself. You smell like the sewer. I don't have soap, she stammered. There is soap in there. It costs $50 a bottle. Use all of it. I don't care. She didn't move. She just stared at him, her eyes filled with a mix of fear and confusion. Why are you doing this? She asked. In the alley, you looked like you wanted to kill me. Now you are giving us a bath. Woojin walked over to the minibar and poured himself a whiskey. He needed it. His hands were shaking slightly, not from fear but from the shock. He had kids. He had a family. He had spent 5 years trying to kill her memory, and now here she was in his house with his face stamped on 2 little humans. He downed the drink in one burn. He slammed the glass down. "I haven't decided if I'm going to kill you yet," he lied. He turned to face her. "But I won't have my children smelling like garbage. Go, now, before I change my mind and throw you back on the street." She flinched at his tone, grabbed the kids' hands, and hurried down the hall. Woo-jin listened to their footsteps fade. He waited until he heard the water running. Then he collapsed onto the leather sofa and put his head in his hands. "Fuck," he breathed out. His phone buzzed again. It was So Yoon. Then a text from her father. "I am Woo-jin. Explain yourself. My daughter is hysterical." Woo-jin deleted the text. He didn't care about the shipping routes anymore. He didn't care about the merger. He had heirs, real heirs, not some arranged marriage contract babies. He had sons and daughters of his own blood, but they were half Adebyo, half enemy. If the clan found out, they would demand a purity test. They would say the blood was tainted. They would want the children taken away and re-educated, or worse, eliminated to prevent a succession war. He had to protect them. But to protect them, he had to own them completely. And to own them, he had to break Falek's tie to her past. He stood up and walked down the hall. The door to the bathroom was cracked open. Steam was pouring out. He pushed the door open silently. The tub was huge, a giant oval of white stone. It was filled with bubbles. Tobai and Kemi were in the water, laughing. Tobai had a beard of foam on his face. Kemi was splashing water on the floor. Falek was kneeling beside the tub, scrubbing Tobai's back with a sponge. She had taken off her dirty outer shirt and was just in a thin camisole. It was soaked with water. Woo-jin's eyes traveled down her back. He froze. There were scars. Long, ugly, raised welts crisscrossed her shoulder blades. Burn marks. Some looked old, some looked new. They weren't from the alley, they were from a whip or a belt. "Who did that?" His voice was a growl. It filled the small tiled room. Falek jumped. She spun around, covering her chest with her arms, eyes wide. "Get out, you can't be in here." Woo-jin didn't leave. He stepped inside, his expensive leather shoes clicking on the wet tile. The steam made the air thick. "I asked you a question," he said, pointing at her back. "Who put those marks on you?" "It doesn't matter," she said quickly, turning her back to the wall so he couldn't see. "Just leave us alone." "Did someone in the streets do it?" He stepped closer. The rage was bubbling up again, hot and fast. "Did a pimp do it? Did a beggar do it?" "No," she cried. "Then who?" He grabbed her arm, pulling her up from the floor. She was slippery with soap and water. "Tell me, Falek, who touched you?" "My uncle." She screamed. The silence crashed back into the room. The only sound was the water lapping against the tub and Tobai's small, frightened whimpers. Woo-jin stared at her. "Your uncle, the one in prison." "Before you caught him," she sobbed, trying to pull her arm away. "When we lost the money, he said it was my fault. He said I seduced you and brought this curse on the family. He said I had to be punished to cleanse the sins." She was shaking uncontrollably now. "He beat me. Every time we ran out of food, every time the babies cried, he said. He said I was a whore for the enemy." Woo-jin felt the blood drain from his face. He had destroyed her family to avenge his brother. He thought he was the righteous one. He thought he was punishing the wicked. But his revenge had trickled down. It had turned her own family into monsters who tortured her. He looked at the scars again. They were pink and jagged. They were maps of pain that he had indirectly drawn. He let go of her arm. "He is in Lagos prison," Woo-jin asked quietly. "Yes," she sniffled, wiping her nose with her wet arm. "Good." Woo-jin turned around. He couldn't look at her. The guilt was a foreign feeling, heavy and sharp in his gut. He hated it. "Wash the children. Kang will be back with food soon." He walked out of the bathroom. He went straight to the living room and picked up his phone. He dialed a number he hadn't called in years. A contact in Nigeria. A man who ran the prisons in Lagos. "It's I am Woo-jin," he said into the phone. "You have a prisoner, Deo Adebyo. Yes, I want him moved." He paused, listening to the voice on the other end. "No, not to a better cell," Woo-jin said. His eyes watched the rain hitting the window, cold and relentless. "Put him in the general population, but before you do, break his hands, both of them." He hung up. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But it was a start. An hour later, the children were clean, fed, and asleep. Kang had bought simple cotton pajamas with cartoon bears on them. Tobai and Kemi looked like different children now. Their skin was glowing and scrubbed pink. Their bellies were full of beef soup and rice. They were passed out on the giant king-sized bed in the guest room, tangled together like puppies. Falek came out of the room and closed the door softly. She was wearing a silk robe Woo-jin had told Kang to buy. It was black. It swallowed her small frame. Her hair was wet, combed back from her face. Without the grime, Woo-jin could see how much weight she had lost. Her cheekbones could cut glass. Her eyes were huge and haunted. She walked into the living room and stood by the sofa, not sitting. She stood like a servant waiting for orders. "Sit," Woo-jin said. He was sitting in the armchair, a glass of whiskey in his hand. She sat on the edge of the sofa, far away from him. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was barely a whisper. "For the food, for the bath, I will pay you back. I can work. I can clean." Woo Jin laughed. It was a dark sound. "You think you can pay me back for this with cleaning? This apartment costs $10,000 a month in maintenance alone. You couldn't pay me back in 10 lifetimes. She flinched. "Then what do you want? Why are we here?" "Because those are my children," he said. He leaned forward. "Did you think I wouldn't notice? Did you think you could hide them forever?" "I wanted to," she said defiantly. "I didn't want them to know this life, the guns, the blood. I wanted them to be safe." "Safe," Woo Jin gestured to the window. "You had them sleeping in an alley in November. Is that safe? They were starving, Falik. Tobai has a cough that sounds like death. If I hadn't seen you, they would be dead by morning." She bit her lip. Tears welled up in her eyes again. I tried so hard." "Your best wasn't good enough," he said brutally. "Face it, you failed them." She put her face in her hands and sobbed. It was a raw, ugly sound. The sound of a mother who knew she had hit rock bottom. Woo Jin watched her. He wanted to go to her, he wanted to touch her, but he stayed in his chair. He couldn't be soft. Softness got people killed. "Stop crying," he ordered. She choked back a sob, wiping her face. "Here is what is going to happen," Woo Jin said. "You aren't leaving. You and the children live here now. You don't go outside. You don't answer the door. You don't use the phone unless it's to call me or Kang. We are prisoners." She asked, looking at him with fear. "You are protected," he corrected. "There is a difference. If you walk out that door, my enemies will find you. They will use you to get to me. They will cut pieces off Tobai just to see me bleed. Do you understand?" She paled. She nodded slowly. "Good." He stood up. "The doctor is coming in 10 minutes to check Tobai's lungs. After that, you sleep. Tomorrow we get new clothes, real clothes, and I will get a tutor for them. They speak like street rats. They need to speak like my heirs." "They speak English and Yoruba," she defended. "They need Korean, proper Korean, not that gutter slang." He walked toward his bedroom door. He stopped and looked back at her. "And Falik," she looked up. "If you ever try to run away with them again," he said, his voice dropping to a whisper that carried across the room, "I will find you, and next time I won't be this nice." He went into his room and shut the door. Falik sat alone in the dark, luxurious living room. She touched the silk of her robe. It was soft, warmer than she had been in years, but it felt like a chain. She looked at the door to the guest room where her babies were sleeping with full bellies. She had prayed for a miracle. She had prayed for food and shelter. God had answered her prayer, but he had sent the devil to deliver it. Woo Jin woke up before the sun. He always did. Bad dreams didn't let him sleep long. Dreams of his brother dying, dreams of blood. He walked out into the living room. It was quiet. He went to the guest room and peeked in. The bed was empty. Panic, cold and sharp, spiked in his chest. He ran to the living room. "Kang!" No answer. Kang had gone home for a few hours to shower. "Falik!" Woo Jin shouted. He ran to the kitchen. They were there. Falik was standing by the stove. She was cooking. The smell of eggs and green onions filled the air. Tobai was sitting on the counter, swinging his legs. Kemi was on the floor, playing with a wooden spoon. They froze when he shouted. Falik turned around, holding a spatula like a weapon. What is it?" Woo Jin stopped, breathing hard. His heart was hammering. I thought you left." "I told you," she said, her eyes wary. "I have nowhere to go, and Tobai is still sick. The doctor gave him medicine. He needs to rest." Woo Jin let out a breath. He ran a hand through his messy hair. He wasn't wearing his suit armor. He was in sweatpants and a t-shirt. He looked human. Tobai stared at him. "Are you the papa?" The question hung in the air like a grenade. Woo Jin looked at Falik. She stiffened. "I asked Mama if you are the papa," Tobai said, "because you look like me and you are angry like me." Woo Jin walked over to the counter. He stood in front of the boy. Tobai didn't flinch. He had guts. "Yes," Woo Jin said, "I am the papa." Tobai nodded, accepting this logic. "Okay, Mama says you are a bad man, are you?" "Tobai," Falik gasped. "I didn't say, you did," Tobai insisted. "You said the bad man took our house in Lagos." Woo Jin looked at Falik. She looked ready to faint. "I am a bad man to people who are bad to us," Woo Jin said to the boy. He picked up a piece of scrambled egg from the plate Tobai was holding and ate it. "But I am not bad to you. To you, I am just Papa." "Okay," Tobai said. He offered the plate. "Want some? Mama cooks good." Woo Jin took a bite. It was simple food. Eggs, salt, green onions. But it tasted better than the steak at the restaurant. It tasted like a memory he had forgotten. He looked at Falik. "It's good," he muttered. She relaxed, her shoulders dropping. "There is coffee in the pot." For a moment, just a moment, it felt like a normal morning. A family in a kitchen, but then the intercom buzzed. Woo Jin's face hardened instantly. He checked the security monitor on the wall. It wasn't Kang, it was his mother. "Shit," Woo Jin hissed. "What?" Falik asked, sensing the change in him. "My mother," he said. "She's downstairs, she never comes here, someone must have told her." He looked at Falik, then at the twins. Take them to the bedroom, he ordered. Lock the door, do not come out, no matter what you hear, do not come out. Woojin, go, he roared. Falik grabbed Kemi and pulled Tobai off the counter. She rushed them into the guest room and the lock clicked. Woojin took a deep breath. He composed his face. He put the mask back on. The triad leader mask. He pressed the button to unlock the elevator. 30 seconds later, the doors slid open. An older woman stepped out. She was small, elegant, and terrifying. She wore a traditional hanbok, but the fabric was dark silk. Her hair was pulled back in a tight bun. Her eyes were sharp, missing nothing. Mother, Woojin said, bowing slightly. To what do I owe the pleasure? Don't play games with me, Woojin, she said. Her voice was ice. She walked into the room, scanning it. She saw the toys on the floor. She saw the 3 plates of eggs on the counter. She turned to him. So-yoon called me, she said. She said you left her at the restaurant. She said you ran after a beggar woman. She walked over to the wooden spoon Kemi had been playing with. She picked it up. And now I find toys in your bachelor penthouse. She dropped the spoon. It clattered loudly on the marble. Where are they? She demanded. Leave it alone, mother, Woojin warned. This is my business. Business is the clan's business, she snapped. If you are harboring a whore, I will have her removed. You are betrothed. You have a duty. She started walking toward the hallway, toward the bedrooms. Woojin stepped in front of her. He blocked her path. Move, she said. No. She looked up at him, shocked. He had never defied her, not directly. You are protecting them, she whispered. Who are they? They are mine, Woojin said. Yours, she scoffed. You mean your bastards? I mean my heirs, he said firmly. Heirs must be pure, she shouted. Who is the mother? Is it that? That African girl, the enemy's daughter, the one who got your brother killed? Woojin didn't answer. The silence was the answer. His mother's face twisted in fury. She raised her hand and slapped him. It was a hard, stinging blow. Woojin didn't flinch. He took it. You shame your brother's memory, she spat. You sleep with the enemy. You bring her filth into our house. She is not filth, Woojin said through gritted teeth. And those children, they are the only family I have left. I am your family, she screamed. You are the past, Woojin said. They are the future. I will not allow it, she hissed. I will call the council. They will not accept a half-breed heir. They will strip you of your rank. They will kill them. Let them try, Woojin said. His voice was deadly calm. Anyone who touches them dies, even the council, even you. His mother stepped back. She saw the look in his eyes. It was the look of a tiger guarding its cubs. It was a look she had never seen before. You would kill your own mother, she whispered. Don't make me choose, he said. She stared at him for a long moment, then she smoothed her dress. You have made a mistake, Woojin, she said coldly. A fatal mistake. I will give you one chance. Get rid of them, send them away, or I will do it for you. She turned and walked to the elevator. You have 24 hours. The elevator doors closed. Woojin let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. He was shaking. He turned to the guest room door. It opened slowly. Falik was standing there. She had heard everything. She wants to kill us, she whispered. Yes, Woojin said. Then we have to leave. No, Woojin said. He walked over to her. He took her face in his hands. His thumbs brushed her cheekbones. We don't run anymore, he said. We fight. We fight, Falik repeated. Her voice was thin, brittle. Woojin, she is your mother. She controls everything. You told me stories about her. She killed your uncle for stealing rice. That was a long time ago, Woojin said, dropping his hands from her face. He turned and walked to the window. The rain had stopped, but the city was still gray. And she doesn't control everything. She thinks she does. That is her mistake. He pulled out his phone. He didn't look at Falik when he spoke. Go back to the room, stay with the children. Kang is bringing people. People. Falik asked, taking a step back. What people? Shooters? No, Woojin said, tapping a number. Tailors. An hour later, the penthouse looked like a backstage dressing room during Fashion Week. Kang had returned not with guns, but with a team of 4 women. They rolled in racks of clothes, cases of makeup, and boxes of shoes. They moved fast, heads down, terrified to look at Woojin, who sat in the corner of the living room cleaning a black pistol with a white cloth. Fix them, Woojin ordered, gesturing to the bedroom where Falik and the twins were hiding. Yes, sir, the head stylist squeaked. They went into the room. Woojin heard Tobai ask, Are we playing dress up? He heard Falik hush him. Woojin checked the clip of his gun. Full. He slid it into the holster under his arm. He had made a decision. Hiding them was weak. Hiding them made it look like he was ashamed. If he hid them, the council would smell blood. They would think he was soft. They would send assassins in the night. But if he paraded them, if he walked them right into the center of the lion's den, it was a gamble. It was insane, but it was the only way to claim them. In the triad, you kept what you could hold. And he was going to hold them in front of everyone. The door to the bedroom opened. The stylists came out first, bowing low, rushing to pack up their gear. They looked relieved to be done. It is finished, sir, the head stylist whispered. They clean up well. Woojin tossed a stack of cash on the table. Leave! They scrambled out. The elevator swallowed them. The room was quiet. "Come out," Woojin said. Tobai came out first. Woojin stopped breathing for a second. The boy was wearing a miniature version of Woojin's own suit. Black silk tailored to fit his small shoulders perfectly. His hair was trimmed and styled back. He didn't look like a beggar anymore. He looked like a prince. Kemi was next. She wore a dress the color of pale cream with a small black bow. She held Tobai's hand, looking shy. Then Falik stepped out. Woojin stood up slowly. The rags were gone. The fear wasn't gone, it was still in her eyes, but the rest of her. She was wearing a dress of deep, blood-red silk. It was long, hugging every curve she still had, with a slit up the side that showed her leg. The color made her dark skin glow. Her hair was pulled up, exposing her long, elegant neck. She wore diamond earrings that caught the light. She looked like a warrior queen who had walked through hell and come out with soot on her face but a crown on her head. She stood uncomfortably, pulling at the fabric. "This is too much," she whispered. "Woojin, people will stare. I look like a mistress." "No," Woojin said. He walked across the room. He stopped in front of her. "You look like an adebyo. You look like the enemy." She flinched. "Is that supposed to be a compliment?" "Tonight it is," he said. He reached out and touched the diamond necklace at her throat. His fingers grazed her skin. She shivered. "Tonight we are going to dinner." "Dinner?" Her eyes widened. "Where?" "The Sapphire Hall," he said. Falik gasped. She grabbed his wrist. "No, Woojin, are you crazy? That is where the council meets. That is where the heads of the families eat. If they walk in there. She pointed to the twins. "They will kill us before we order drinks." "Let them try," Woojin said. His voice was calm, terrifyingly calm. "If we hide, they hunt us. If we walk in the front door, they have to look us in the eye, and nobody looks me in the eye and lives if I don't let them." "You are using us as bait," she accused. "I am using you as a shield," he corrected. "And a sword, get your purse." He turned to the kids. He knelt down on one knee. He was eye level with Tobai. "Tobai," Woojin said seriously. "Yes, Papa." "Tonight we are going to a place with bad people." "Like the uncles who hit Mama?" Tobai asked, his small fists clenching. "Worse," Woojin said. "But you don't have to be scared because I am the baddest man in the room, do you understand?" Tobai nodded gravely. "You are the boss." "That's right, I am the boss, and you are the boss's son, so you walk with your head up. You don't cry. You don't hide behind Mama's legs. You hold your sister's hand and you look everyone in the face. Can you do that?" Tobai puffed out his chest. "Yes, Papa." Woojin smirked. He ruffled the boy's hair. "Good lad." He stood up and looked at Falik. She was watching him with a strange expression. Not hate, not fear, something else, confusion. "Let's go," he said. The drive to the Sapphire Hall was silent. The rain had started again, lashing against the windows of the convoy. They had 3 cars now. Woojin wasn't taking chances. Falik held Kemi on her lap. Her hand was gripping Woojin's arm. She probably didn't realize she was doing it. Her nails were digging into his bicep. "Relax," he murmured. "If you look scared, they will smell it." "I am scared," she hissed. "I'm not like you, Woojin. I don't get high on danger. I just want my children to live." "Then act like you own the place," he said. "Fake it." The car stopped. "We are here, boss," Kang said from the front seat. He sounded nervous. Woojin looked out the window. The Sapphire Hall was lit up like a palace. Expensive cars were lined up. Men in dark suits were smoking outside. "Stay close to me," Woojin said. The door opened. Flashbulbs didn't go off. This wasn't a celebrity event. This was the underworld. But heads turned. Woojin stepped out first. He buttoned his jacket. He looked around, challenging anyone to speak. The men smoking cigarettes threw them down and bowed hastily. "Boss, I am," they muttered. Woojin ignored them. He reached his hand into the car. Falik took it. She stepped out. The red dress slashed against the gray pavement. The men stared. Their jaws dropped. They knew who she was. Everyone knew Falik Adebyo. She was the ghost of the war. Then Tobai and Kemi hopped out. The silence was absolute. You could hear the rain hitting the pavement. The men looked at the children. They looked at Woojin. They did the math. Woojin didn't give them time to whisper. He put one hand on Falik's lower back and guided her forward. Tobai marched beside him, holding Kemi's hand, his chin held high just like Woojin had told him. They walked up the stairs. The doorman opened the heavy oak doors. They entered the dining hall. It was massive. Crystal chandeliers, round tables with white cloths, the smell of roasted duck and expensive cognac. There were 50 men in the room, the captains, the elders, the core of the clan. And at the head table, sitting on a throne-like chair, was his mother. The room went quiet. Spoons stopped halfway to mouths. Glasses were set down. Woojin walked down the center aisle. His footsteps echoed on the hardwood floor. Click, click, click. He didn't stop until he was 10 feet from his mother's table. She stared at him. Her face was a mask of shock. She looked at Falik. She looked at the twins. "Woojin," she said. Her voice carried across the silent room. "What is the meaning of this?" "Dinner," Woojin said loudly. "I believe there is a seat open." He pointed to the empty chairs at his right hand. Seats reserved for the second in command. Those seats are for your lieutenants, an elder spoke up. He was a fat man with a scar running down his nose. Elder Choi, not for women and children. These aren't just children, Woo Jin said. He placed a hand on Tobai's shoulder. This is Tobai and Kemi. He looked around the room, making eye contact with every captain. They are my blood, he announced. They are the next generation. A murmur rippled through the room. Blood. The enemy. But the mother. She is an Adebyo, Elder Choi shouted, slamming his hand on the table. She is the daughter of the man who slaughtered our brothers. You bring a viper into our nest. The war is over, Woo Jin said coldly. The blood debt is never over, Choi yelled. He stood up. Two of his men stood up with him, hands moving to their jackets. Falik gasped and pulled the kids closer. Woo Jin didn't move. He smiled. It was a wolf's smile. Sit down, Choi, Woo Jin said softly. No, Choi spat. You have lost your mind. You are blinded by lust for this. This whore, I will not break bread with the enemy. He pulled a gun. It happened fast. Woo Jin didn't pull his gun. He grabbed a steak knife from the nearest table and threw it. It flew end over end. Thunk! It buried itself in Elder Choi's hand, pinning it to the table before he could raise his weapon. Choi screamed. The gun clattered to the floor. Chaos erupted. Men jumped up, chairs falling over. Guns were drawn. Stop! Woo Jin roared. His voice was like a thunderclap. It froze the room. Look at him! Woo Jin shouted, pointing at the screaming elder. He draws a weapon on his boss in front of children. Woo Jin walked over to Choi, who was whimpering, clutching his impaled hand. Woo Jin ripped the knife out. Choi howled. Woo Jin wiped the blood on Choi's napkin. Anyone else want to question my guests? Woo Jin asked. He looked around the room. His eyes were wild, dangerous. Anyone else want to die tonight? Silence. Good, Woo Jin said. He walked back to Falik. She was shaking, her face pale, but she hadn't run. She was standing her ground. Sit, Woo Jin told her, pulling out a chair at the head table right next to his mother. Falik looked at the matriarch. The older woman was staring at the blood on the table, then at her son. She looked terrified. Falik sat. She lifted Tobai into the chair next to her. Kemi climbed up on the other side. Woo Jin sat at the head of the table. Waiter, Woo Jin called out casually. A trembling waiter appeared. Menu for the lady and warm milk for the kids. Woo Jin looked at his mother. Hello, mother, he said pleasantly. You look lovely tonight. His mother's lips were a thin white line. She looked at Tobai, who was staring at the elder, clutching his bleeding hand. He looks like you, his mother whispered. It was an involuntary admission. I know, Woo Jin said. He has your chin. The matriarch looked at the boy. Tobai looked back. He picked up a silver spoon. Hello, Grandma, Tobai said. The matriarch flinched as if she had been slapped. The room was slowly returning to normal. Men were sitting down, whispering nervously. The bodyguards dragged the sobbing elder Choi out of the room. The message had been sent. Woo Jin was crazy, and nobody touched his family. Dinner was an agonizing affair. Falik picked at her food. She felt like she was eating glass. Every time a waiter moved too fast, she jumped. Woo Jin ate calmly. He cut his steak with precision. He talked to his lieutenants about shipping routes and territory disputes as if he hadn't just stabbed a man. But under the table, his hand was resting on her knee. His grip was firm, grounding. It was the only thing keeping her from screaming. So, the matriarch said finally. She hadn't eaten a bite. She was watching Falik. You have been living in the slums? Falik looked up. Yes. Why didn't you go back to Nigeria? I have nothing there, Falik said. Her son made sure of that. The matriarch sipped her tea. And the children, are they educated? I teach them, Falik said defensively. They can read, they know numbers. In English, the matriarch sniffed. Useless here. I speak Korean, Tobai piped up. Papa said I have to speak proper, not gutter slang. The matriarch's eyebrows shot up. She looked at Woo Jin. A tiny, almost invisible smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. He listens well, she noted. He's my son, Woo Jin said simply. And the girl? The matriarch looked at Kemi. Kemi was shy. She was hiding behind a bread roll. She is quiet, Falik said. She is. Careful. Careful is good, the matriarch said. Women in this family need to be careful. She reached into her purse. Falik tensed. Woo Jin's hand tightened on her knee. The matriarch pulled out a small jade bracelet. It was old, green, and priceless. She placed it on the table and slid it toward Kemi. It is too big for her now, the matriarch said. But until she grows. Woo Jin stared at his mother. This was an acceptance, a small one, a reluctant one, but an acceptance. Thank you, mother, Woo Jin said. Don't thank me, she snapped. I am doing it for the family name. We cannot have the daughter of the dragon looking like a pauper. She stood up. I have lost my appetite. The smell of blood is unpleasant. She looked at Falik one last time. Do not think you are welcome, girl, she said coldly. You are simply tolerated for now. Swept out of the room, Falik let out a long, shaky breath. She slumped in her chair. We survived, she whispered. We did more than survive, Woo Jin said. He poured himself more wine. We won. The ride back to the penthouse was different. The tension was still there, but it had shifted. Tobai and Kemi were asleep instantly, exhausted by the excitement and the food. Falik looked out the window at the passing city lights. You really stabbed that man, she said softly. He pulled a gun, Woo Jin said. You are a monster, she said. I told you that 5 years ago. But, she turned to look at him, the streetlights washed over her face. You defended us, you called us family. You are family. Why? She asked. Is it just because of the blood? Is it just because you want heirs? Woo Jin looked at her. He looked at the curve of her lips, the scar on her shoulder that was hidden by the dress. He remembered how she used to laugh before he ruined her life. He remembered how she felt in his arms. He wasn't just doing this for heirs. He knew that now. When he saw Choi pull that gun, he hadn't thought about the Adebyo bloodline. He had just thought, don't touch her. Does it matter? He asked. Yes, she said. It matters to me. I need to know if I am just an incubator for your children or if what? If I am human to you. Woo Jin reached out. He took her hand. His palm was rough, calloused from years of fighting. Hers was small and soft. You are the only human thing I have left, he said roughly. Falik stared at him, tears welled in her eyes. She squeezed his hand back. They didn't speak the rest of the way. When they got to the penthouse, Woo Jin carried Tobai and Falik carried Kemi. They put them into the bed. They stood in the hallway. Go to sleep, Woo Jin said. It has been a long day. Woo Jin, Falik said. Yeah. Thank you, he nodded once. He turned to go to his room. Wait, she said. He stopped. You said we fight. What happens next? The council won't stop with just one stabbed hand. Elder Choi will want revenge. Woo Jin turned back. His face was hard again. The moment of softness was gone. Let him come, Woo Jin said. Tomorrow I start cleaning house. Anyone who isn't loyal to me and to you is gone. That sounds like a war, she said fearfully. It is, he said, but this time I'm not fighting alone. He stepped closer to her. The air between them crackled. He smelled of whiskey and rain. She smelled of vanilla and fear. He leaned down. For a second she thought he was going to kiss her. Her breath hitched. She didn't pull away, but he just brushed a stray curl from her forehead. Lock your door, he whispered. He turned and walked away. Falik watched him go. She touched her forehead where his hand had been. Her heart was pounding so hard it hurt. She was terrified of him. She hated him for what he had done to her family, but God help her, she felt safe. Scene, the next morning. The sun was bright. The storm had passed. Woo Jin was in the kitchen drinking coffee. He was reading a report on his tablet. Boss, Kang said, walking in. He looked grim. What is it? Woo Jin asked without looking up. Did Choi die? Good. No, sir, Choi is alive, but we have a problem. What problem? The Adebyos, Kang said. Woo Jin froze. He looked up slowly. They are dead. I killed them. Not all of them, Kang said. We got a ping on the airport security grid. Facial recognition. He slid a photo across the counter. It was a grainy photo from Incheon Airport arrivals. It showed a man. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a scar running through his left eyebrow. He looked like a younger, angrier version of Falik's father. Who is that? Woo Jin asked. Malik Adebyo, Kang said. Falik's cousin. We thought he burned in the Lagos warehouse fire. He looks very alive, Woo Jin muttered. He just landed, Kang said. And boss, he isn't alone. He brought a crew, Nigerians, mercenaries. Woo Jin stood up. He walked to the window. He looked out at the city. The war wasn't over. It had just entered the second round. Does he know she is here? Woo Jin asked. He must, Kang said. Why else would he come to Seoul? He is coming for her and the children. Woo Jin clenched his fist. Find him, Woo Jin ordered. Find him before he finds us, and Kang. Yes, boss. Kill him slowly. Just then, Falik walked into the kitchen. She was wearing the silk robe again. She looked rested. She smiled, a real small smile. Good morning, she said. Woo Jin looked at her. He looked at the photo of her cousin on the counter, the cousin who had come to take her back, the cousin who would kill Woo Jin and take the heirs. He snatched the photo and slid it into his pocket before she could see. Morning, he said tightly. Is everything okay? She asked, sensing the mood. Fine, Woo Jin lied. Just business. He couldn't tell her, not yet. She had just started to feel safe. If she knew her family was here to drag her back to hell, she would break. He had to handle this. Quietly, brutally. I have to go out, Woo Jin said. Stay inside, Kang stays with you. Where are you going? She asked. To finish some old business, he said. He walked past her. He paused, then kissed her on the forehead hard and quick. Trust me, he said, then he was gone. Falik touched her forehead again. She frowned. Something was wrong. She looked at Kang. What happened? She asked. Kang looked away. Nothing, ma'am, just business. Falik didn't believe him. She walked over to the counter. She saw the corner of a paper sticking out from under the fruit bowl where Woo Jin had hastily shoved it. She pulled it out. It was a second copy of the photo. She gasped. The coffee mug in her hand slipped. Smash! Hot coffee and ceramic shards exploded on the floor. Malik, she whispered. She knew those eyes. She knew that scar. Malik was her favorite cousin, the one who had promised to protect her. But that was before she slept with the enemy, before she had the twins. Now Malik wasn't here to save her. He was here to execute her for treason. Falik dropped to her knees, picking up the sharp pieces of white ceramic. Her hands were shaking so bad she cut her thumb. A drop of bright red blood mixed with the brown coffee puddle on the white marble floor. "Ma'am, stop," Kang said, stepping forward. He looked panicked. "I will call the cleaners. You will hurt yourself." "I know him," Falik whispered, ignoring the cut. She held up the soggy photo. "Kang, I know him. This is Malik. He isn't just a cousin. He is the enforcer." Kang's face went stiff. He looked at the door where Woo Jin had just left. "Boss knows," Kang said quietly. "That is why he left." "He left to fight him." Falik stood up, gripping Kang's arm. Her wet hand stained his dark suit jacket. "You don't understand. Malik doesn't fight fair. He doesn't meet you in the street with swords. He burns your house down while you are sleeping. He poisons your water." She looked at the elevator. "Woo Jin walked into a trap," she said. Her voice was trembling, but her eyes were clear. The fear was gone, replaced by a cold certainty. "Malik isn't at the airport. He isn't at a hotel. If he let you take a photo of him, it's because he wanted you to see it. He wanted Woo Jin to leave the house." Kang's eyes widened. He tapped his earpiece. "Team 1, report. What is the boss's location?" Static. "Team 1, Kang barked. "Signal jammed," a voice cracked through the static. "We lost the feed." Falik felt the blood drain from her face. She turned and ran toward the bedroom. "Lock the doors," she screamed over her shoulder. "Kang, lock everything down." "Wait, stop. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Woo Jin just walked into a trap, the signal is dead, and the most dangerous killer in Nigeria is ghosting toward the penthouse where the twins are sleeping. I need to know whose side you are on right now. Are you Team Woo Jin, the dragon, or Team Falik, the mother? Put a dragon for Woo Jin or a lion face for Falik in the comments. And listen to me, rate the suspense level 110. Are you sweating yet? Now look at that red button. Subscribe to Timeless K-Love. Right now. If you don't, if you just watch and leave, then you're letting Malik walk through that front door. You're letting the past destroy this family. Don't be a ghost. Be a hero. Hit subscribe. Woo Jin kicked the door open. The warehouse in Incheon was dark, smelling of rust and old fish. Rain hammered on the tin roof, deafeningly loud. He had 20 men behind him. They swept into the room, guns raised, flashlights cutting through the gloom. "Clear left! Clear right!" Woo Jin walked to the center of the room. There was a table. On the table was a single chair, and on the chair was a phone. It was ringing. Woo Jin stared at it. He knew. In his gut, the cold snake of realization uncoiled. He picked up the phone. "Hello, Woo Jin," a deep, accented voice said. It sounded smooth, like velvet wrapped around a knife. "Malik," Woo Jin said. "You are predictable," Malik said. "You protect your territory, you chase the threat. It is admirable, but stupid." "Where are you?" Woo Jin asked, looking around the empty warehouse. "Come out and face me." Malik laughed. It was a low, rumbling sound. "I am not there, dragon boy. Why would I be in a fish warehouse when I could be in a penthouse in Gangnam?" Woo Jin stopped breathing. His hand tightened on the phone until the plastic cracked. "If you touch them," Woo Jin whispered, "I will peel the skin from your bones." "Such violence," Malik tutted. "You stole our flower, you tainted our blood, and now you threaten me." "I didn't steal her," Woo Jin snarled. He was already running back to the door, waving at his men to move. "She came to me." "Because you left her no choice," Malik said. "But don't worry, I am not here to kill her. Not yet. I am here for the children. They belong to the Adebyo line. We will raise them right. We will wash the Korean out of them." "Run," Woo Jin roared at his men. "Get the cars now." He sprinted out into the rain. "You better fly fast, Woo Jin," Malik said, his voice cold. "I'm in the lobby." The line went dead. Woo Jin threw the phone against the wall. It shattered. "Drive," he screamed, diving into the back of his SUV. "Get me back to the tower, go." The driver slammed on the gas. The tires screeched on the wet pavement. Woo Jin pulled out his gun. He checked the chamber. He checked his knife. He had never felt fear like this. Not when he was shot. Not when he was tortured. He was 30 minutes away. Malik was in the lobby. Woo Jin closed his eyes and prayed to a god he didn't believe in. "Keep them alive. Just keep them alive until I get there." "Mama, why are we hiding?" Tobai asked. He was sitting in the back of the walk-in closet in the master bedroom. It was a huge space, filled with Woo Jin's suits and shoes. It smelled like cedar and expensive cologne. Falik was pushing a heavy dresser in front of the closet door. She was sweating. Her silk robe was torn at the hem where she had tripped. "It's a game," Falik lied. She grabbed a pile of ties and used them to tie the handles of the double doors together. "We are playing Fortress." "I like Fortress," Tobai said. He hugged Kemi. Kemi was holding her new jade bracelet, rubbing the smooth stone with her thumb. "Listen to me," Falik said, kneeling in front of them. She grabbed Tobai's face. You have to be quiet, quieter than you have ever been, even if you hear loud noises, even if you hear Mama screaming, you do not make a sound, do you promise? Tobai looked at her. He saw the terror in her eyes, he nodded slowly. I promise. Good, she kissed them both. Stay behind the suits, don't come out until Papa comes. Where are you going? Tobai asked, grabbing her hand. I have to guard the fortress, she said. She pulled her hand away. She stepped out of the closet. She closed the doors. She checked the ties. Then she turned to face the bedroom. She looked around for a weapon. There was nothing, a lamp, a perfume bottle. She ran to the nightstand. She opened the drawer. There was a gun. Wu Jin's spare gun. It was black, heavy, and cold. Falik had never fired a gun. She hated them. Guns were what killed her uncles. Guns were what ruined her life, but she picked it up. It felt like a stone in her hand. She checked the safety like she had seen in movies. It was off. She heard a sound from the living room. Thump. It was the sound of a body hitting the floor. Kang, she whispered. No answer, then a voice. Little Flower, are you home? Falik shivered. It was him, Malik. She walked out of the bedroom into the hallway. She held the gun with 2 hands. She was shaking so hard the barrel was dancing in the air. She reached the end of the hall. She looked into the living room. Kang was on the floor. He wasn't dead, but he was bad. His face was a mess of blood. He was trying to crawl, trying to reach his gun, which was kicked across the room. Standing over him was a giant. Malik Adebyo had not changed in 5 years. He was huge, built like a tank. He wore a long beige trench coat that was wet with rain. His head was shaved. The scar through his eyebrow was white and jagged. He was holding a silenced pistol in one hand, casual, like a remote control. He looked up and saw her. He smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. There she is, Malik said. The Princess of Lagos, the Queen of the Rats. Get out, Falik said. Her voice was steady, surprising. Get out or I shoot. Malik looked at the gun in her hands. He laughed. You don't even know how to hold it, Falik. You'll break your wrist. He stepped over Kang's body. He walked toward her. Stay back, she screamed. She squeezed the trigger. Bang, the shot went wild. It hit the ceiling, showering plaster dust down on them. The recoil jerked her arms up, almost knocking the gun out of her hands. Malik didn't flinch. He just kept walking. 1 shot, he counted. You missed. Try again. I said stay back. She aimed again. Her heart was hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. You look good, Malik said, stopping 10 feet away. He looked at her silk robe. Better than the photos. You were looking skinny, cousin. The Korean feeds you well. Does he treat you well too? Or are you just his warm hole for the night? Shut up, she spat. He is 10 times the man you are. Malik's face hardened. He is the enemy. He killed your blood and you spread your legs for him. He moved fast, too fast for a man his size. Falik tried to fire again, but he was there. He slapped the gun out of her hand. It flew across the room and slid under the sofa. He grabbed her by the throat. He lifted her off the ground. Falik clawed at his hand. Her legs kicked the air. She couldn't breathe. Black spots danced in her vision. Where are they? Malik asked. He wasn't shouting. He was whispering. Are the abominations? Go, to hell, she choked out. He squeezed tighter. I can snap your neck like a chicken, Falik. It would be easy. I would be doing the family a favor. Do it, she gasped. I won't tell you. Malik stared at her. He saw the resolve in her eyes. He saw the mother in her. He smiled. He threw her against the wall. She hit hard. Her head cracked against the plaster. She slid down dizzy, gasping for air. You don't have to tell me, Malik said. He sniffed the air. Smell them. I smell the milk. I smell the baby powder. He turned and looked down the hallway toward the bedroom. No, Falik screamed. She tried to stand up, but her legs were jelly. She crawled after him. Malik, please, they are children. They are innocent. They are half him, Malik said, walking down the hall. We can't have that. He reached the bedroom door. He kicked it open. Come out, little ones, he called out. Uncle Malik is here. Falik dragged herself across the floor. No, no. She saw Kang move. The bodyguard was battered, one eye swollen shut, but he wasn't out. He saw his gun under the chair. He started to crawl toward it. Wu Jin was driving the SUV himself now. He had pushed the driver out at a red light. He was doing 140 kilometers per hour on the highway. He drifted around a corner, smashing the side of the car into the guardrail. Sparks flew. He didn't lift his foot off the gas. Hold on, he yelled to the men in the back. He saw the tower. He saw the lights. He didn't go to the garage. He drove the car straight through the glass doors of the lobby. Crash. Glass exploded everywhere. The SUV skidded across the marble floor of the lobby, knocking over the concierge desk. Wu Jin jumped out before the car stopped moving. He had a submachine gun in his hands. 2 men in trench coats were standing by the elevators, Malik's guards. They raised their weapons. Wu Jin didn't slow down. He sprayed the lobby with bullets. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. The guards fell. Wu Jin ran to the elevator. He punched the button. It was locked. Damn it! He looked at the digital panel. Malik had hacked it. He pulled a grenade from his belt. He pulled the pin. He jammed it into the crack of the elevator doors and ran back. Boom, the doors blew open. The car wasn't there. It was on the top floor. Wu Jin looked at the cables. Boss, the stairs, one of his men shouted. Too slow, Wu Jin yelled. He jumped into the shaft. He grabbed the oily cable with his bare hands. He looked up, 45 floors. Start climbing, he ordered his men. I'm going up. He engaged the motorized ascender on his belt, a piece of gear he always kept for emergencies. He clamped it to the cable, it whirred to life. It pulled him up fast, but not fast enough. He could hear gunshots from the penthouse. Malik stood in the bedroom. He saw the closet doors tied together with silk ties. He chuckled. Cute. He pulled a knife. A long, curved machete. He sliced the ties. He kicked the doors open. He saw the barricade of dressers. He shoved them aside with one hand, and there they were. Tobai was standing in front of Kemi. He was holding a plastic toy sword. His little face was pale, but he wasn't crying. Go away, Tobai shouted. My papa is the boss. He will kill you. Malik looked at the boy. He looked at the defiance. You do have his spirit, Malik said. It's a shame. He raised the knife. No. Falik threw herself on Malik's back. She had crawled from the living room. She wrapped her arms around his neck and bit his ear. She bit down hard, tasting blood. Malik roared in pain. He spun around, trying to shake her off. Get off me, you witch! He slammed his back into the wall. Falik groaned as the air left her lungs, but she didn't let go. She locked her legs around his waist. Run, Tobai, she screamed. Run! Tobai grabbed Kemi's hand. They scrambled out of the closet. They ran under Malik's legs. Get back here, Malik shouted. He reached out and grabbed Kemi's hair. Kemi screamed. Falik dug her fingers into Malik's eyes. Let her go! Malik elbowed Falik in the ribs. Crack. She gasped and her grip loosened. He threw her to the ground. He still had Kemi by the hair. The little girl was dangling, her feet kicking, screaming for her mama. Tobai stopped. He turned around. He looked at his sister. He looked at the giant man. He didn't run. He charged. He stuck the plastic sword into Malik's leg. It bent and snapped. Malik laughed. Brave, stupid. He raised the machete to finish it. Click, the sound of a hammer cocking. Malik froze. He looked toward the door. Kang was standing there, leaning against the doorframe. He was bleeding from everywhere, barely conscious. But he had his gun, and it was pointed right at Malik's head. Put the girl down, Kang wheezed. You look dead, Korean, Malik sneered. You think you can aim. I don't have to aim, Kang said. At this distance, I can't miss. Malik hesitated. He calculated if he dropped the girl, he could shoot Kang, but Kang might shoot first. Then a noise from the balcony shatter. The glass doors of the balcony exploded inward. A figure swung in on a rope, crashing through the glass, rolling on the floor and coming up with a gun raised. It was Wu Jin. He was wet. He was covered in grease. He looked like a demon rising from hell. He saw Malik. He saw Kemi dangling. He saw Falik on the floor. M-A-L-I-K, Wu Jin screamed. It wasn't a word. It was a sound of pure raw hate. Malik dropped Kemi. He grabbed Falik from the floor and pulled her in front of him. He put the machete to her throat. One step, Malik shouted. One step and I open her up. Wu Jin froze. He was breathing hard. His chest heaved. The room was a standoff. Wu Jin by the balcony, Kang by the door. Malik in the center, using Falik as a human shield, the knife pressing into her skin. A thin line of blood appeared on her neck. The twins were huddled in the corner, sobbing. You have nowhere to go, Wu Jin said. His voice was shaking with rage. My men are coming up the stairs. The building is surrounded. I don't need to go anywhere, Malik grinned. His teeth were red with his own blood. I just need to send a message. He pressed the knife harder. Falik whimpered. Let her go, Wu Jin begged. He lowered his gun. Take me, let them go, and I go with you. I let you walk out. Wu Jin, no, Falik whispered. You would do that, Malik asked. The dragon would surrender. For them, yes. Wu Jin dropped his gun. He kicked it away. Let her go, Malik laughed. You are weak and pathetic. My cousin destroyed you. He looked at Falik. You see, Malik whispered in her ear. He is nothing. He gives up his power for a woman. He gives it up for love, Falik said. You wouldn't understand. Malik's eyes narrowed. Then die with him. He tensed his arm to slash her throat, but he forgot one thing. Tobai, the boy, was small, he was quiet, and he was holding the broken shard of the plastic sword. It was sharp plastic. While Malik was looking at Wu Jin, Tobai crept up behind him and jammed the plastic shard into the back of Malik's knee. Hard, Malik howled. His leg buckled. It was only a second, but it was enough. Falik dropped her weight, sliding down out of his grip. Wu Jin lunged. He didn't go for the gun. He hit Malik like a linebacker. They crashed into the dresser. The machete flew across the room. Wu Jin was on top of him. He punched Malik in the face, again and again. And again, he felt the nose break. He felt the teeth shatter. You touched her. Punch. You touched my daughter. Punch. Malik tried to fight back, but Wu Jin was possessed. He wasn't fighting like a martial artist. He was fighting like a beast. He grabbed Malik's throat and squeezed. Wu Jin, stop. It was Falik. She was pulling on his arm. Wu Jin, he's done. Stop. Woo Jin blinked. He looked down. Malik was unconscious. His face was a pulp. Woo Jin let go. He rolled off him, gasping for air. He looked at Falek. She was bleeding from her neck, her lip, her head. "Are you okay?" he rasped. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. She crawled into his arms. "We're okay," she sobbed. "We're okay." Woo Jin held her tight. He buried his face in her neck, smelling the blood and the vanilla. Then he felt small hands on his back. Tobai and Kemi, they hugged him too. "Papa beat the bad man," Tobai whispered. Woo Jin looked at his son. He looked at the plastic shard in Tobai's hand. "No," Woo Jin said, his voice breaking. He pulled Tobai into the hug. "We beat the bad man. We did it together." Kang slumped against the doorframe, sliding down to the floor, holding his side. He smiled through his swollen eye. "Nice family," Kang wheezed. 2 hours later, the police didn't come. Woo Jin owned the police in this district. The cleaners came. They took Malik away. He wasn't dead. Woo Jin wanted him alive. He had questions, and he had a lot of anger left to burn off. The apartment was silent. The broken glass was swept up. Falek sat on the sofa. A doctor was stitching the cut on her neck. It wasn't deep, but it would leave a scar. Another scar. Woo Jin sat next to her. He had ice on his knuckles. The twins were asleep in the guest room again, this time with 2 guards inside the room and 1 outside. "It's over," Woo Jin said quietly. "Is it?" Falek asked. She winced as the needle went in. "Malik isn't the only one. There are others, my family. They are proud people. They won't stop." "Let them come," Woo Jin said. He looked at her. "I realized something today." "What?" "I was trying to hide you. I was trying to keep you secret to protect you, but that was wrong." He stood up. He walked to the window where the wind was still blowing in through the broken pane. "We don't hide anymore," he said. "We build." "Build what?" "An empire," Woo Jin said. He turned to her. "A new one that isn't just Korean, one that isn't just triad. We take what is yours, we take what is mine, we combine them." He walked back to her. He knelt down. "Marry me," he said. The doctor stopped stitching. He froze. Falek stared at him. "What?" "Marry me," Woo Jin repeated. "Not for a contract, not for peace. Marry me because you fought for me. Marry me because our son stabbed a giant in the leg to save us. Marry me because we are the only 2 people in the world who understand what it means to love something enough to kill for it." Falek looked at him. She saw the bruises on his face. She saw the exhaustion, but she also saw the fire. "You are crazy," she whispered. "Yes," he agreed. "My family will try to kill us at the wedding. My mother will probably try to poison the cake," Woo Jin added. Falek laughed. It hurt her ribs, but she laughed. "Okay," she said. Woo Jin blinked. "Okay?" "Okay," she said. She leaned forward and kissed his bruised mouth. "Let's build an empire." Woo Jin smiled. He kissed her back. Outside, the soul rain finally stopped. The clouds broke. A single ray of moonlight hit the city. The dragon had found his heart, and the princess had found her sword. And the world wasn't ready for what was coming next. The end.